Yes, yes, yes. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Clobby'S Comics Corner Spinner Rack Toy Machine, October 1971, week 2. All right, it's clobbering time, folks. Yes, here we are. It is once again time to make our trip on Comic Book Day down to our comic shop to pick up our new acquisitions. Although we're doing it like time travelers because we're traveling back to 1971, and you're entering my TARDIS that is in the shape of a comic book spinner rack of the era, and you're going to make your choices based upon the available choices of the era, or more to the point, I am going to make those choices for you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to make it for myself. You can make your own, of course, but I have made 10 choices this week. In my pull list, there are many other comics, of course, to choose from, because it's always a big week, at this comic shop, at Clobby'S Comics Corner. These are the times when as you can see, the business was flourishing, and there were tons of competition on those spinner racks and in those drugstore racks and those newsstands and all that stuff. So, but I'm going to pick 10 a week, of course. That's the premise of these videos. And there, of course, just to let you know, there will be links in my description below to not only the site where I get my info with great Mike's Amazing Comics World, but of course a link to my playlist for all of the Clobby'S Comics Corner Spinner Rack Time Machine videos. So let's push off, shall we? Let's get this done right now. I've made my trip back to 50 years ago, 1971. Nice round number to pick up this week's new comics. Before I show it, I'll recap last week. Last week, of course, a great batch of stuff, as you can see. Flash them through real quick. And boom, boom. So it was a big selection last week and a big one this week too. This is just huge. And of course, then tomorrow, tomorrow when you see this one, it'll be Thursday. We'll do a quick bits wrap up video. So first up for this week on the comic rack, Avengers number 95, smack dab in the middle of one of the comics' all-time classics, the Kree-Skrull War in full motion right here in this chapter. Of course, written by the extraordinary rascally Roy Thomas, the legend Neil Adams, inked by Tom Palmer on this one, and with a cover by Adams and Palmer. And again, this is a classic here. That opening page, I should have showed you a picture of it, really, but you've probably all seen it with Triton. I think Triton crawling out of the drink. Just a great Adams splash cover. So I do believe that would be this one. I think so. Oh, well, doesn't matter now. Anyway, who hasn't? If you're of any age close to mine, who hasn't read the Kree-Skrull War? And so next up, of course, is Captain America and the Falcon. Yes, Cap shared his title for a while with Sam Wilson, the Falcon, number 145. And let's see here. Gary Frederick. Frederick, he got around. He and Mike, I guess it was, they were related. There was his brother. Got around writing comics, both Marvel and DC. Art by the master Gil Kane. Gil Kane drawing Cap. I'm so there. But in this case, he just did the first 14 pages. And then, another legend filled in and got the rest of those done, page 15 through 21, of course, John Romita. So you got a Cap story, and you got Kane, and you got Romita. Just no brainer. Got to have it. Covered, of course, by Romita. Let's see here. Incredible Hulk number 147. Story by Jerry Conway, but you can't have everything. Sorry, I'm picking on Conway. Just kidding. Sort of. Art, of course, by Mr. Herb Trimpe and John Severin, great inkers. I love the Trimpe. Well, there's the Trimpe Severin team ups by the art are just incredible. It's incredible. That's, of course, for story one. There was a secondary story by Roy Thomas and the Trimpe Severin combo with a cover by Herb Trimpe and John Severin. So, what an era. I love that Hulk era. I really do. It's subby time, folks. Submariner number 45. Jerry Conway once again on the writing chores. Marie Severin, this time not John. The wonderful one of the underrated comics of all time, comic book artists, so I should say of all time. Marie Severin by longtime artist Jim Mooney. And the second story is a reprint from Submariner Comics number 42, some Golden Age magic there by one of the masters, Bill Everett. And the great Gil Kane, of course, on the cover, inked by Frank Gilshaw. Never could really say his name right. Oh, you know what? On that Cap issue, I forgot something. There was actually a letter in the letters page from a fan by the name of Fred Jansen that was one of the first people to suggest that Cap's shield was made of a certain alloy, like a combination of vibranium and adamantium or whatever. And later, even though later that was only half introduced into the canon, but it is notable that a fan talked about it in a letters page before it was adopted, and it became, of course, the whole vibranium thing. And I think at some point before it was vibranium and proto-adamantium or something like that for a while. But anyway, interestingly, it came from a fan. I forgot to backtrack. I started backtrack a little bit and do that because I forgot, because you should check your notes when you write things down. I didn't write a lot of notes, but sometimes I do that. Superman, 2 weeks of Superman. Last week, Superman 245 came out. And of course, it was it was crazy because that was just there was just a bunch of reprint. There was just, there was no new material in it. And this one, in Superman 245, it was doubled as a DC 100-page giant thingy. But this week, so 2 weeks, this month had 2 consecutive issues of Superman, but we have newer stories in there. So they were probably having deadline problems, I would imagine, as they were often known to have back then. But Superman 246 has 2 stories. Lynn Wein and Carrie Bates were the writers on the 2 stories. The pencilers on each story, respectively, of course. Kurt Swan, Rich Buckler, with some nifty Murphy Anderson inking on both, so you can never go wrong there. The great Murphy Anderson, what an extraordinary inker. And then you have a reprint from I forgot to write down. Actually, it was from a reprint from, I think, Superman number 40. I forgot. See, as you can see there, I forgot to note which comic it was from, like an idiot. But there's an old Jerry Siegel Superman story in that reprint, I do believe. So, my mistake. Great Kurt Swan, Murphy Anderson cover. It's notable that the second story in there by Carrie Bates, I believe, written by Carrie Bates, was the first appearance of Star Labs. Remember the famous DC often mentioned scientific laboratory where the superheroes are always getting involved and stuff, which of course resides in Metropolis, I believe. So yeah, the first appearance of Star Labs. So isn't that crazy? Now of course, hail to the king! Kirby alert! Kirby alert! Kirby alert! We have New Gods number 6. Story of, well, look, you don't have to go through it. It's all Kirby all the time, with some ink assist here and there from Mike Royer, and there's an Adventure Comics reprint, Simon and Kirby Adventure Comics reprint in there, and even another one, an older reprint from Real Fat Comics about rocket ship thingies and stuff in the future. So you have a couple of Golden Age reprints in the back of but everything's Kirby though. And with a little Simon in there. So a Kirby extravaganza. And it goes without saying that it is, of course, a Kirby cover. This is an interesting one. You have this great Gil Kane cover, an Amazing Adventures number 10. And we're, Black Bolt and the Inhumans. They used to put the Inhumans in there a lot. I like how this one is Black Bolt and the Inhumans. Another thing, of course, story by Jerry Conway. Art by, DC legend Mike Sekowsky, who was a staple on a lot of 50s and 60s DC comics, including a long-running stint on Justice League of America. So again, it was one of those things like, it's weird to see these guys moonlight. Well, I guess a lot of them were, freelancers. And, it's just, it's weird. It's another one of those deals where it's weird to see him do, some Marvel work when he was such a DC staple. Anyway, it was inked by Frank Yosha. And we have a Thor 146 reprint, an old Kirby Lee issue with some great inking by the great Joe Sennett, who also inked the cover on Gil Kane's amazing pencils. Gotta love that. Oh my goodness, Conan time. Oh my goodness. What a great time, for Conan the Barbarian. These were the salad days when you had the Roy Thomas, and the Barry Smith before he had the name Windsor Smith in it. Actually co-plotted this one by a guy who went on to be an author in other fields, I believe John Jakes, but he did do some work a little bit of work for Marvel. So John Jakes, Roy Thomas, art by Barry Smith before he added Windsor Smith into his name, inked by Sal Buscema. Sal, again, early days of Sal doing some inking with a Smith cover. And again, beautiful cover. Oh my goodness. That's the art never looked better on Conan for me than the Barry Windsor Smith era. Just for me. Marvel feature number 2 presents the Defenders. Yes, pretty much I do believe the second appearance of the Defenders. Roy Thomas. This is, certainly a close precursor to them getting their own series. Roy Thomas on the story, Ross Andrew on the art, as he was in the first issue. I can't remember who inked him. I think he may. I believe. Well, I'm not sure who inked him on this one because I probably forgot to write it down. But it was Ross Andrew, so that's pretty cool. Probably something like a Frank Gioshi or somebody like that. There is a Nifty Submariner Comics 36 reprint by the aforementioned master, Bill Everett. And cover took 3 guys to get that cover out there. John Buscema, Frank Yosha, and John Romita on this one. So I'm not sure how much the 2 Johns contributed to that one. I mean, it did, I guess it sort of looks like them. And finally, back to the king, Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. Number 144. The Kirby with some Murphy Anderson and Vince Coletta aid on the finishing touches of the art, and a Simon and Kirby reprint. Interestingly enough, a Kirby cover with it says Adams participating in that cover. Neil Adams inking, which is kind of strange. I don't know why they think Adams had much to do with that cover, other than maybe some face redraws, maybe. I don't know. Usually it wasn't him doing the face redraws. So anyway, those are our selections for this week, my good friends. And as I was saying, big week as always. Look at all these titles. Man, if you're really into the humor titles and the romance titles and the horror stuff, this was the time for you. I'm telling you. It was a time for all of us, though, because it was the Bronze Age, and comics were just so much fun. So this video, when it airs on Wednesday evening, afternoon, evening, or whatever, the day after, we'll follow Clobby'S Quick Bits, the follow-up video to this one. Thank you all so much for watching this video, my friends. Again, in the description below, I will have a link to the playlist for all the Clobby'S Comics Corner videos, and all kind of other neat stuff in there. So, and also to Mike's amazing World of Comics blog for you for your perusing pleasure. Thank you all again, my friends, and clobbers, clobber on. Oh, you know what? I should probably play my outro, shouldn't I? Long night. Have a good one, folks.